No, I like it. This is brilliant.
You're my sweet little angel eyes. I love my sweet little angel eyes. You've got your wings, I know your spirit flies. My heart's wide open and there's no disguise. I love my sweet little angel eyes. Got me dreaming of the days to come. My heart is beating like a big bass drum. You got me singing. Open up the skies. You're my sweet little angel eyes.
Welcome to the lab after dark. So good to see you guys. Nice to be here. I might just start doing guest spots on YouTube from now on. Just, show up whenever. I like that. To me, that's fun.
My sweet little angel eyes. You got your wings, I know your spirit flies. My heart's wide open and there's no.
It's good to see you, Linda. Rosie, Karen. Sorry. It's good to see everybody. Flipper in the house. Welcome. Loved my PG. Yeah. That was funny. Matter of fact, it was actually funnier. The call into Justin and his show. I mean, first of all, the moo and the wig and then the humming. And it's just like, huh? So yeah, it was just a blast. But let's see. Kayla, good to see you as well. South Carolina. Good to see you. Yeah, Justin was so funny. I'm not new. I just changed my screen name. We got Stitchy Witchy. Capture. Yeah. Well, I'll bring it up here in a second. And we'll listen to it from the other side, because from the other side, it's even funnier. And everybody's, not everybody, but everybody's that's listened to it and commented towards me was really nice. Justin was so funny. Just his little setups and the nuances that he did, he made it really, really easy. A lot of people might not realize that one of my favorite things is to, if I could be on a show where I was the second, where I didn't have to just host the show purely, if I could kind of just play second fiddle, I guess, or first chair or whatever they call it. I don't know, but I've always liked to be able to react to what people say. And one of the things that I've always like, solo shows aren't always easy. They've gotten easier over time, but I mean, I remember when I was first start doing shows, because the people that I was doing shows with sucked because they quit. And so it was like, okay, well, you have a choice. You can either replace them, or you can work on doing it yourself. And I worked on doing it myself, and it was very difficult for a long time. Live shows were the worst. I just could not stand live shows. But I remember thinking, if I'm going to do anything in broadcasting or voiceovers or just narration or anything like that, then I was going to have to learn how to fill time on my own. And that has always been difficult for most people. Most people need a second chair, and that's always helpful. There's no doubt that it's helpful, but it's not always necessary. Like the really, really committed, and when I say committed, I don't mean like mental institution, although that applies to most things in my life. I've never been committed, but I've witnessed several people be committed before. And I'm not really sure. I'm not even sure that the people that came and picked them up were qualified. One collapsed a gurney, and then I saw somebody get hauled in on. They were having some sort of psychiatric break, and this kid that I went to school with, his name was Zach. He's a complete idiot. He was always telling people that his dad was the fire chief. Oh, my dad's the fire chief. And I was like, no one cares, dude. Zach, you're stupid. Your dad's cool. You're dumb. But because his dad was the fire chief, you had to be nice to him just in case something burnt down. Just say in case something caught on fire, you had to really, make sure that you're in with Zach. Especially if you like to play with matches. If you liked to play with matches as a kid, you wanted to be good friends with Zach because his dad was the fire chief. That was at least the thought. We didn't know that he didn't actually run the entire fire department. Like if you still called 911, apparently you would still get somebody out to your house to try to extinguish the fire. Do you still got to be nice to him just in case? No, I don't. And that's the thing too. He's one of those friends. Zach is one of those friends, and he is a friend, but I haven't talked to him in probably a year. But he used to come down to my store constantly. Well, sorry. When I say constantly, it felt like constantly, but it was like once a month. He would stop in, and he'd always be like, oh, I'm looking for like something for my kid, like a baseball bat or something. And for some reason, like, because my desk was in the back, and they'd always say, is Josh here? And every time somebody come back and say, hey, this person's asking for you, I say, well, who is it? I don't know. It's like, find out who it is. That way I can tell you to go tell them if I've accidentally amputated my toe or something. And the only reason that my car's in the parking lot is because I couldn't push my foot down on the gas to drive myself to the hospital. So, you know, that's what this guy comes in. And if you know anything about me, and you may or may not, I'm a germaphobe. Not with mine. I don't care about my germs. My germs don't bother me. It's your germs that bother me. It's the world's germs. And so those are the germs that bother me. Now, most people in the world will not drink or will drink after somebody else. I will not. I don't drink after anybody at all. Not my kids, not my sister, nobody. I just don't drink after people. It's disgusting. And it's how kids look, it's really probably how the Zika virus started. I don't have direct proof of that, but I am confident in saying that it has caused plagues. Sharing juice boxes. Who thought that sharing juice boxes would be the start of The Walking Dead? So that's me. Okay. So anyway, I haven't seen this guy in months. And then every time I see him, it's overly hellos. Josh, what's up, man? What's up? Remember high school? Remember that time that you hit a home run left-handed? And then you ran around the bases the opposite way. Yeah, one of those greetings. It's just overly enthusiastic. It was always overly enthusiastic. Josh, what's up? You know, that kind of, that sort of thing. What's up? It's like, God. So anyway, he shows up. He shows up with a box of tacos. Like it's like he bought tacos. So he shows up. It must have been his glory years. Trust me, it was. Because after that, it was nothing but downhill from there. So anyway, well, not really. I mean, it's just Zach. But he shows up and he's got tacos. And he goes, Josh, I brought you lunch. And immediately my antennae go up. Bing. You bought me lunch, huh? Yeah, I brought you lunch. It's like, okay. So he hands the little thing over to me, the little styrofoam, you know, and I slowly start to pop it open to see what could possibly be in here. And antennae. Yeah, that's what I said, antennae. And as I slowly open it, there's 2 full tacos and one taco that is about 2/3 left, and then a bunch of spilled product from other tacos. So I can barely look at it. I close it back up. I said, thanks. I set it on the counter. He goes, what? You're not going to eat it? And I said, no. Why? And I said, well, because, I mean, it looks like garbage. Like, he's like, there's 2 tacos in there, man. And I said, what? There's 2 tacos in there. Yeah, there's 2 full tacos. I said, Zach, that box probably started with 5 or 6. You didn't bring me lunch. You didn't want to leave that in your car. This is what I said to him. You didn't want to leave that in your car. So you came in and half-ass offered it to me, hoping that either I'll eat it and you'll be a hero, or I can throw it away. Either way, I'm going to solve your problem. And he goes, man, you've never been subtle, have you? And I said, I've never tried to give leftover food away as new food. Let's forget being subtle. You bought these street tacos, you ate most of them, and then you told me that you bring me lunch. He's like, yeah, man. Duh. It's good to see you. Feelings weren't mutual. Well, that's not true. I mean, I liked him, but then he goes on to this whole thing about how he's convinced that his wife's going to leave him because she's too hot for him, and that he wouldn't blame her if she did. And then I said, well, you know, she's seeing somebody else. And he's like, no. And I said, so why do you think that? And he's like, because I'm fat and ugly. And she's like, she's gotten prettier. And I was like, well, that makes sense. It's like, do you think that she's going to leave me? I was like, I've never even met her. Like, I don't have an opinion on this. No, but I'm just saying, like, what do you think? I don't think about it. I'm not really sure what you're talking about, you know? Like, does that sound like something somebody would do? I mean, maybe, yeah. It's possible. I don't know what you want me to tell you, Zach. I don't know. I've never met her before. But you were at our wedding. Didn't get introduced. And that's true. I wasn't in the wedding. I was at the wedding, but I still, like, I don't even think I don't even think I greeted her at the wedding. He wants me to give him advice. And I said, well, if you're feeling insecure, then just, why don't you just tell her that? No, I could never do that. So, okay, well, I'm sure it's going to work out well. And then he goes on, he goes on to say that, yeah, well, sometimes she gets annoyed with my drinking. I haven't seen this guy in months. And every time I see him, it's for 5 minutes since high school. Maybe 5 minutes every day since high school. Not every day, sorry. Maybe 5 minutes every 8 months since high school. And I think we played on a summer league baseball team. The last year of high school, and then that was it. So he's every time I see him, it's the weirdest thing. Like, he's just telling me so he's telling me that she's got a problem with his drinking, that he's afraid that she's going to leave him because he's not hot and she is. By the way, they're still together. Like, they have like 3 kids, and I'm not saying that he's just nuts. but I don't want to like comfort him too much. Like, it's like, hey, maybe you should, I don't know, dude, swing a kettlebell or something. I don't know, whatever is going to help you feel better. Zach. So he tells me his wife's concerned about his drinking. He's ugly. She's not. Brings me lunch, tacos. He brings me tacos. And like I said, I'm weary from the jump. Like if somebody shows up and goes, hey man, I got something for you to eat. Although I had a friend one time named Pete show up out of nowhere, and this was weirder, but it wasn't used food. But he went and bought me lunch from like the Safeway deli with the bags. In one bag he had like potato wedges, and the other was like fried chicken. It's like this. It's like, hey, I brought you lunch. I was like, I've never, ever seen that, but it was all sealed up, So that was great. But it was weird. I've never been delivered like lunch in bags. If they were carne asada, you know what, Lilacs? I have no idea what they were. We didn't get that far. All I saw was a bite out of one of the tacos and some overspill. And that bad boy went straight up in the trash like it was nothing. Like I wasn't even humored by it. Or somebody just walks up to you and says, like, hey, can I get a waterfall of that? That was the thing that people, here, you want to waterfall it? Take a drink, waterfall it. Do you guys know what that is? It's when you make no contact with your mouth or lips and you just pour the drink in there like a baboon. He took no, he didn't just take a bite. He had feasted on some of the tacos before he gave me my tacos that he was bringing me. But anyway, he was like, yeah, like, he's he's a waterfall guy. Hey, can I let me get a waterfall. Well, first of all, we're not in war. This isn't a canteen. This is my coffee. Because if I can't figure out which one, like if there's a drink, like if I have the same drink as somebody and for some reason they end up open and at the same level within like a couple inches, then I can't, for the life of me, I just throw them all out. It's done. Unless they want both of them, they're done. I'm throwing them both away. You're welcome to both of them, or whichever one you think is yours. But if you're not cool with this, I'm not cool with this, I'm going to throw both of them away, and then we can just start fresh. It's okay. Like, I'm very fine with that. And I think it was 3 years. But sometimes you forget to do it. Low self-awareness, that and many other things. Yes, so I have done that before, but what I'm saying is I'm willing to just nuke the entire snack table and start from scratch. It's a water, it's a Coke, it's $1.59. Well, with inflation, it's probably $6 now, but at one time it was affordable. But the point of the the point of the waterfall is so that you don't backwash. I just don't believe that. I think that your germs get everywhere. All the time. And I worry about that. So, you know, you can imagine when the Rona showed up. Well, that just kicked everything into high gear. Yeah, the double dip chip. Oh God, you dipped your chip. You took a bite. You dipped again. Yeah, I remember that's the best. Hello, Sky Maiden. It's just sick. Yeah, like, never mind. I was gonna say, do you guys remember people who used to always say "sip the gutter"? Does anybody know what that means? And that was just something that was said commonly as a child. And now that I think of it, it's grotesque. It's just, that's just so gross. I can't handle that. Yeah, the rim, exactly, Sky Maiden. That's exactly right. Yeah, I agree that germaphobe, I've never heard of it. Bogart the joint. I've heard that's not exactly what we're talking about, but it's similar ish. Bogart the joint. This isn't Dazed and Confused. But anyway, yeah, so that's what it's whatever. Just the things that like you think of as a kid, you know? Like I won't drink tap water now. And that's a major problem in case there's ever like a major catastrophe. Like the water stops. Or I can't get any bottled water. Like it's got to be filtered through reverse osmosis. It just has to be. And I know most people drink tap water, and I applaud those people that are so brave. And I wish that it wasn't that way. You know, but like ever since I had, like, I've got a good like 6 months immunity, so I'm just going around just, you know, whatever. I'm trying, like, I'm right now, I feel untouchable. I'm vaccinated 13 times over. I've had the Rona, and I'm not, I wash my hands sometimes right now. I'm just trying to, you know, live my life. And I'm trying to take, you know, like, hey, right now you have the immunity that the world has always waited for. You got 6 months or so of this. So you better live it up, brother. And so that's what I'm going to do. Yes, I kissed my girlfriend. Yes, of course. I know it's hypocritical. But soda cans don't kiss back. And you can choose who you want to kiss, but if somebody just wants to like drink after you, no thank you. I actually like garden hose water, but only for my parents' house and their 30-year-old garden hose. I mean, I can understand that. That makes sense. You're not going to get judged here for that. Have you ever you go into a building to drink some water? The church that I used to go to had this separate building. It was, I don't know, there was like they called it a fellowship hall. I don't know. They should have called it like the banquet room, but for some reason it had to be like, and then they had classrooms that very little, I don't think a lot of teaching went on in those rooms, but I think it was just a lot of like coffee drinking and talking, you know, which sounds cool. Yeah, the people seem to enjoy it. But this building, like when you would turn the water on, it'd be brown at first from like the rust in the pipes. And apparently they would say, oh, no, we put stuff in there. That way it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, no, you don't want to do that either. Like we put bleach. We pour bleach in the water system. Wow. It's the wildest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, everybody needs their own juice box. And that should never be disputed. I had a guy one time tell me, he convinced me actually, because his toe was like kind of funny looking. And he would always wear like thong sandals. And no matter what, I would tell myself like all the time, I'm not going to look at his toe. I'm not going to look at his deformed whatever toe. Like I'm not going to do it. I don't know if it was deformed or what it was, but sorry, I muted it. Okay, sorry. So whenever Frederick would come around church camp, what would end up happening is I'm like, he's going to show up tomorrow. He's going to show up tomorrow and he's going to wear his flip-flops. So I would mentally prepare going, you know, man, I'm not going to look at Frederick's mangled toe. I'm going to do everything that I can to not look at his toe. And then day of, I'm locked on. I can't look at anything else except Frederick's Frankenstein fat toe that's, you know. I mean, I was running into stuff all day, just staring at his toe. And it was like he was waiting for me to ask, hey, buddy, when are you going to ask me about my toe? I'll explain it to you. That was the vibe that I was getting. The vibe that I was getting. But I mean, I was locked onto that bad boy. So finally, after mercilessly staring at it for hours, because he was our, that was the thing too. He was the lifeguard. And I would always go like, he must get really good drag with that toe. Like it's like his fin or his flipper or whatever. And he just kind of pushes, because the thing, it was just a weird toe. Like it wasn't gross. It just didn't look like a toe. It kind of looked more like, I don't know. It was like big, but it was small. But it was like big. If that makes any sense. It was weird. Sometimes it looked big, sometimes it looked small. It just depends which way the light hit that thing. So his toe, finally I just got up the courage to ask him. I said, "Hey, Frederick," that's how I said it. That's how I talked to him. "Frederick, can I ask you what's going on with that toe that you have?" And he says, "Yeah, but see, that was my attempt to ask him. He wanted me to say," so I said, "Hey, can I ask you about it?" And then he says, "Yes," and then proceeds for me to wait again to go, "Okay, so what's wrong with it?" So I say, "What's wrong with it, Frederick?" And he says, "I chopped it off when I was a kid." I said, "You chopped your toe off?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "But the toe's there." "Yeah, I know." I said, how do you chop it off?" And he says, "That's how it grew back." That's how it what? That's how it grew back. When I cut it off, I was only 2. So I was still growing. And then it just kept, and then that's how it grew back. I was like, huh? I've never heard such a thing. He says, "Yeah, that's how it grew back." I said, "How did it grow back bigger than a normal toe?" "I don't know. I didn't grow it." "You didn't grow your toe. I know that. But the toe, your other toe that you didn't cut off when you were a kid, your other toe's fine and it's normal, but this one is different." And he said, "Yeah, it just grew. That's how it grew back." So all church camp long, I was going around telling everybody, "Dude, I found out what happened to his toe." I said, "Well, what happened to it?" I said, "He cut it off when he was a kid. He grew back that way." And I'm telling you, I told this to probably 20 people. And not one of them believed me. Every single one of them mocked me mercilessly and called me stupid. So I'm getting it in my head like, you know what? I think this guy told me a fib, and he's mad because I asked him what happened to his freakish toe. So anyway, I'm not trusting him. I don't trust that if I'm close to drowning, that he's gonna save me. So I confront him, sort of, you know, stand out of the way of his toe, and I was like, "Hey, bub, listen, I've told everybody that I can think of what you told me about your toe, and nobody believes you, but I do. I believe you." And he goes, "Thank you," and goes on his merry way. And that was the end. I never saw him again. I read about him. I mean, I read about when he got busted evading the police on the top of a roof, shooting a gun in the air, and was on meth. But I never talked to the guy again. So I'm not sure if he was serious with me or if he was joking or if it was a little bit of the same, you know, little fact, little fiction. Oh, he was a great guy. Just super nice. I think he had a meth problem. That doesn't make you a bad person. But yeah, and to this day I still kind of believe him. Like I still kind of believe him, but he might have been pulling my toe. That's true. I don't know. I believed him. And that's my fault. And I've thought about that since 1999. No, I don't believe that toes can grow back. I do not believe that. But somehow you had to be there to hear him tell it with the conviction that he did. He was like, my toe grew back. I know it sounds insane. You'll never believe me. And he's like, I don't want to tell you what happened to my toe because you're not going to believe me. And that's when I was like, I will believe you. I promise, Frederick. Just tell me what happened to your toe. Just tell me what happened to your toe. And so he says, no, that's the thing. I'm not gullible. I don't find myself gullible at all. But there was just something about Frederick. I believed what he was telling me. Nobody else believed it. I believed it. I didn't want to believe it. It seemed unbelievable. It seemed weird. But in the moment, the ambiance of the camp, the pollen, the deer, the cabin, the river, the eagles, the burial ground, I could see magic happen. So then I thought, well, maybe somebody's the one that told, maybe he was lied to. Maybe he was lied to and he believes. Maybe he believes that it happened. And that's why I believed him. But what I'm telling you is I believe it, but I don't believe it. You know, like I believe him. I believe the story that he told me he believes is true, but I don't believe that his toe grew back. Now, here's what I do think happened. I think he got it caught in a bandsaw. Just a wild guess. That's what I thought. That's what I think now. But like I said, yeah, that too. Yes, he started logging very young. It makes as much sense as anything. I think that it got caught in a bandsaw when it was 2, and somehow that the rust from the bandsaw made it grow. He didn't actually cut it off; he just cut it. You have no idea. Church camp was awful. You got to understand that church camp was the worst. It was fun being with your friends, but Frederick and his freak foot would show up. And this is another thing. And trust me, this wouldn't fly today ever. No, but that's the thing. I'm not sure that he was born that way. Matter of fact, I regret ever asking him about his stupid toe. Believe you me, I regret it in a major way. Yeah, I regret that whole situation. Never should I ever have asked him about his toe. But so let me just tell you this, though. Okay. So what happened, and this would never fly today, nor should it, by the way. The girls, the women's, we called it the girls because we were like, 15 at the time. So their shower was, it was normal, I guess. And hold on a second. Hold on, sorry. So they had individual stalls, like they were, cut off or whatever you want to call it. They just had walls up, and the boys didn't. There was just how do I do that? Hold on. Okay. So anyway, Sorry. So just an absolute ridiculous mess. The the boys' bathroom. First of all, it was disgusting. It was just absolutely disgusting. It looks like you have 5 different devices looking at you through your glasses. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 6. Yes, it's rain. And no, it's not on the tin roof. I don't have a tin roof. But yeah, so the bathroom, okay, so it wasn't the bathroom stalls. So the toilets had individual stalls, but the shower was straight up wide open, 1982 gym style. And for some reason, I to this day, I still struggle with why it was this way. There were wooden pallets you would stand on to shower. Never, ever understood why. I just stood on the pallet, but there were wooden pallets in there. And there were a good many times where I just wanted to say, hey, does anybody know why why there are pallets? And it must be, that's the thing. Maybe it helped with the athlete's foot, but we're all standing on the same thing. This is just, it didn't make any sense. So why didn't they have mats? It's to prevent athlete's foot. Okay. Well, whatever. Yeah, wooden pallets. It was the most ghetto camp I'd ever been to in my life. Like legitimately. It was legitimately like the craziest, weirdest camp ever. It was just terrible. It's like rattlesnakes and stuff. No. Well, not me. I had water shoes. I was cool. I wore my own water shoes. Yeah, I don't know. All I'm telling you is that there were stupid pallets down. I never understood that to this day. And I don't feel good about it. It's weird. All these years later, you would just think like Frederick and the wooden pallets. And then there were like weird years where like me and my friend Chris got talked into like, it was either the older kids or the younger kids, but they're like, hey, you want to like be the dishwashers for the week and you can hang out here. And I was like, no, thanks. And then my grandparents made me do it. So then we had our own cabin. It was just a nightmare. We got lost floating down the river for like 6 hours. It was bad. All 7 of the alibis. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. I just really couldn't. I just hated that place. The pallets did it, you think? The pallets. I could see that. It was just a really, like, at the time, you're like, okay, well, you're a kid. The whole bathroom, the whole bathroom situation was awful. just everything. I hated it all. I always wear platform flip-flops when I go to the beach because the shower drains are always clogged. Right. Well, that makes sense. C-Star in the house. I did not see any Bigfoot. No. No Bigfoot. I heard them, but I didn't see any. Yours was a fellowship hall too? Yeah. It was like a dining area. I have to get all fancy with it. I have never seen a Bigfoot, but I have met a few people that I trust. It's kind of like the toe thing. I think that they think they saw it. Yeah, I didn't see Bigfoot. I saw Big Toe. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. It was odd. Big Toe, Camp Big Toe. Jason, the other. So anyway, I would just. But the crappy part about it is you'd spend like a third of your summer there because it was the craziest stuff. Like there was a time when don't ask me why we were standing in a circle, but we were standing in a circle. It's like 4 of us. And the dumb kid that we hung out with that we really loved a lot, but he just wasn't smart. His name was Big Jake, and he always had a smile on his face like this. He wasn't high. It's just how he was. And he, like this deer came up over this little embankment and didn't expect us to be standing there. And it ran right in the middle of the 4 of us or 5 of us, however many. We're standing in a circle. And he says, he's like, "Oh, look, a deer." And we were all frozen like, and then Lucas or Chris, I can't remember which, they're brothers, both big a-holes. And what ended up happening, one of them yelled, "Get it, Jake." So we called him Big Jake. "Get it, Jake." And I'm not really sure why that was said, but Jake did try to get it. And when he ran for it, it bucked him in the chest. It was the funniest thing ever. Dropped him like a sack of potatoes. So then when he came to, I asked him, I was like, "What'd you expect to do there?" And he was like, "I don't know. They told me to get it." I really thought he was going to pick it up, and he just wasn't going to be able to do that. And he got bucked in the chest by a deer. Knocked the wind right out of him too. It's the funniest thing ever. That's the sound he made, and you could hear it. You could hear it kick him. Poor Jake. Yeah, Jake. Of course I laughed. Wasn't the one that told him to do it, but yeah, I laughed. It was funny. It wasn't a big deer. It was like a little deer. They were. I did. Nothing happened to the deer. It took off. Oh, it hurt. All right. It was just the funniest thing I'd ever seen. "Get it, Jake." And then I think he goes to try and pick it up, and it kicked him. Were any of you worried about Jason showing up? Jason, the fictional character from the movie? Oh, trust me, I know. I wasn't going to chase the deer. Jake did. That's his problem. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, just no. I never once thought that Jason, the imaginary killer from the movie, was going to show up at church camp. There were enough freaks to go around. Benjamin, I don't know if any of you remember. Yeah, I don't know if many of you remember the story about Benjamin when he would ask me to call him Benjamin. I was more worried about him going on a rampage. That guy was wound so tight. You should see how he wore tight jeans, and not because it was fashionable. He wore the tightest jeans you ever seen in your life. And a matching jean jacket. Same outfit every day. I believe that he would change his underoos and a t-shirt, I think. But you should have seen these pants. And then he'd wear these boots, and you should have seen the way he walked when he would really get like agitated. The way that he would walk, he was like imagine a scared chicken that's not quite running, but walking fast. Same outfit every day, same jean jacket. And if it was cold, he'd button it up, and if it was warm, he'd unbutton it. I don't know why that mattered, but he would wear it whether it was hot or not. We went to the water slides, and he wore the jean jacket and the jeans. Not into the pool, but that was his lounging. That was his lounging wear. Was the Canadian tuxedo. It was 105 degrees outside at the water slides. I remember it vividly. It was awful. It was just, I mean, absolutely awful. So that's so I was more concerned that maybe he would do something really awful. It made me nervous. He did a little bit. Not so worried about Jason. Mystic Road, good to see you. Girl Scout camp. Yeah, it was weird too, because Ben was he was balding by the time he was 17. He was always telling me about his future wife. He didn't even have a girlfriend, but he had a future wife. No, let's see. Not at all. Not at all. Definitely not a cowboy. I know cowboys. Benjamin was not a cowboy. He was a boy. That's about all I can really say on that matter. And then there was the couple that at church camp, they got sent home because they got caught kissing, and then come to find out they were cousins, like first cousins. So I don't know if they got sent home because they were first cousins or because they were kissing, or if it was a bit of both. Yeah, but that right there, that information really spread through the camp like a wildfire. That was our that was that was our 9/11. You earned your thumbs up. I'm working here. I know. It's just insanity, right? But thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Oh my God. You just think back on your childhood and there's just an endless amount of ridiculous behavior that went on. Like a ridiculous amount. The worst kind of behavior. And then church camp or youth group trips or yeah, you really never you never quite get your reputation all the way back. And here's the other thing too. Like neither one of them were winning any beauty pageants, and the kid, God rest his soul, he was a friend of mine, and his name was Jim Brewer. And Jim passed away it was quite a while ago, but we would always not tease him, but like he was like, yeah, like I have the hots for Bobby. Like, Bobby? It's like, yeah, you know, Bobby on the girls' side. So I didn't know that there was a lady over there named Bobby. And she had a young man's haircut and everything. And he was really, really into that. I guess. So we just thought that he had a crush on Bobby. None of us knew that Bobby was his cousin. And I'm not sure that he didn't know that it was his cousin. He says he didn't know, but like usually you know who your first cousins are. Your parents are related. They're brother, sister, brother. So it's really hard. It was really hard for me to really believe him when he'd say that he didn't know that it was his cousin. I just somehow, some way felt like that was a bit disingenuous, but I think that they just really liked each other. I don't know. It's like no, they weren't young kids. They were like 16, 17. They weren't young. But I'm going to give my buddy the benefit of the doubt and say that he didn't know that Bobby was his cousin. Yeah, Bobby. I remember that. He also used to put deodorant on like under his neck. I always thought that was weird too. Of course he knew. I can never prove that he knew, but I mean, your parents are siblings. Like I don't know which was which. And trust me, I didn't want to go down that road. I didn't want to talk to him about his family tree. But in my mind, I kept going, you know what? Your mom or dad is brother and sister with their mom or dad. You obviously know each other somehow, some way. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, graduations, bar mitzvahs, family reunions. I mean, church camp couldn't have been the first time that they met each other. Yes, he's very single. So that's why I always question it, because no, they didn't. Uh-oh. I'm going to read this out loud, and going in fresh. I haven't read it. I just saw the first few things. It said it happened to my brother once. I love when sentences start like that, because usually when somebody says it happened to my brother once, they really mean it happened to me once. But I'm going to just throw it out there, test the waters, and see what kind of reaction it gets. And then if it's not too disturbing and funny enough, then I may take credit. It didn't happen to me once, but my aunt was from my grandpa's first marriage, and we didn't know her side of the family. But yeah, that happened. It's okay. I believe you. I believe you. It's fine. It's no judgments here. I once had a friend that dated his cousin. Her name was Bobby. Hey, you guys, I accidentally married she's my aunt and cousin. I mean, my brother did. It wasn't me, I promise. I'm sure that your brother appreciates you telling us that he hung out with his aunt at the family reunion. Like, did they date? Was that was that what was going on? Or was it just like, I am really curious about that. So was it just like a hookup or was it like a relationship? I think Proven Spooky ran away. I'm sorry. I'd be like, I'm out of here. This guy's a dick. So glad you made me a mod. Oh, here she is. No, it was my second cousin and they just kissed. Yeah, right. Right. No, I swear. No. No, you made it seem way worse than what you just said. It happened to my brother once, but my aunt was from my grandpa's first marriage and we didn't know, and her side of the family. But yeah, that happened. When I say, when you say that happened, that to me implies something a little more. So yes, I overthought it in a major way. And I think you're reeling it back in now. And I would too. Trust me. I would reel it back in too. Oh God, no, it was only his. See, you say it was my second cousin. Don't you mean his second cousin, Proven Spooky? Oh man. That's funny. We have the same cousin. Yeah. That's true. That's a good point. That's too good. We have the same guy. Yeah, okay, all right. I'm with it. It's actually a legit phenomenon that relatives that don't know it will be attracted to each other, not in a sexy way, but in a primal way. It's fascinating, really. It's not really fascinating at all. It's just I wouldn't even call it a phenomenon. You call it a phenomenon. I'm not. Is that really a phenomenon? Like I think of a phenomenon as like the aurora borealis or proven life after death, a lunar eclipse in the middle of the day. I consider those things phenomenons. What I don't consider a phenomenon is being attracted to your cousin. I do not think that that is a phenomenon. So, but it's semantics. Now, it might be strange and it might be unusual. I know. Yeah. I found my husband and I are sixth cousins. Well, you can marry your second cousin. That's not a big deal. I believe you can. I don't even know if I have a second cousin. I don't know. Okay, Mitch, I have no idea what a second cousin once removed is. We can look it up though. Second cousin once removed. We're going to learn something here. A second cousin once removed is either the child of your second cousin or the parent of your third cousin. So I still don't know. Whatever that was, whatever I just read, it made me dizzy. A second cousin once removed is either the child of your second cousin or the parent of your third cousin. They are once removed. They are once removed. Yeah, there you go. Right. Okay, well, Celeste, you should have written this article because what you just said makes it way more easy to understand. I think second cousin is your parents' cousin's kids. I don't know. It's the whole thing sounds ridiculous and facetious and well, not facetious, but aerodynamic. Yeah, it's just a generation apart, but I think we are all related somehow anyway if you go back far enough. Yeah. Well, well, I guess that really depends if you believe in Adam and Eve or evolution. Because if you believe in evolution, like the Big Bang or whatever they call it, it's aerodynamically facetious. Yeah, you're right. Who said what? But I think I don't know. I don't understand it. Doesn't matter. Oh man. Shauna hitting us with facts. In Iowa, you have to do a blood test before you can get married. Reasons for that. Probably a good idea. All my exes live in Texas. The first word, anyhow, this thing. Yeah. All my exes live in Texas. Bah, 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 bah. Well, then, hello to all my brothers and sisters. Hello. It's good to see you. Hi. Beautiful singing. Yeah, I can sing a little bit. I feel like I exercised a lot of demons tonight. Felt good. Feels good. I just, I felt like I needed to talk about church camp a lot. Get some of that cousin love in church camp, in the past. Choir boy. Oh, you don't even want to know about the talent shows. The talent shows. And once again, like this, you couldn't get away with this, but we won tickets to some amusement park. There was a kid at camp. His name was Mario from Guadalajara. Very hard to understand, even if you spoke Spanish. Accent tough. And his name was Mario, and we wrote a song called Mario from Mexico, and we won. And we even threw in the La Cucaracha thing, and I don't know, probably some gay innuendo, because we thought that was real funny at church camp. So we did some of that, and then yeah, we won though. We won tickets to the water slides, or no, not the water slides. That was a theme park. So yeah, but you couldn't make that song now. But it literally just went like this. It's Mario from Mexico, where the girls are fly and a few cute guys. And then we'd get to the then you get to the chorus and La Cucaracha, and then from there we thought it would be funny, instead of actually saying the words, because none of us knew what it meant. Then you would just go, yeah, no, and all of us would do it differently, but nobody would say any words. La cucaracha, and then everybody dispersed, and then we get right back on track. So that happened too. And in the past, you could definitely win tickets to an amusement park by making a racist song by today's standards. I think we had a pass because I'm Mexican, so that kind of gave us an in. But like, I wasn't Mexican like Mario. We were different. We were the same, but we were different, It's the first generation Mexican American, and then somebody that literally just came to church camp. Mario loved it. Mario was the best. I loved him. Miss Mario. Wonder whatever happened to him. Let's see. All right. I think I've kicked it around enough. Thanks for being here, guys. It was fun. As always. Have a good night.
You're my sweet little angel. You've got your wings, I know your spirit flies. My heart's wide open and there's no disguise. I love my sweet little angel eyes. Got me dreaming of the days to come. My heart is beating like a big bass drum. You got me singing, open up the skies. You're my sweet little angel eyes. Oh, I can move on mountains with my own two hands. Cut through the rhythm like a true jazz band. I would swim that ocean, see your face. You fill my soul with amazing grace.
Dum baba doo 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 dum baba dum baba doo 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 doo
Love my sweet little angel eyes. You got your wings, I know your spirit flies. My heart